The winter winds cut across the Danube like blades of ice. In the Roman war camp, the fires burned low, and the legion banners barely moved. Everything felt heavier than usual. Quieter, and at the center of it all, inside a simple wooden commander's tent, lay the man who had held an empire together through philosophy, discipline, and sheer endurance. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, was dying. For years, he had forced his frail body to continue marching with his soldiers, leading them through forests, snow, and endless barbarian raids. But his strength was now fading fast. The cough that had plagued him for months had worsened. His face, once stern and wise, now looked pale and thin. Yet even in pain, Marcus radiated a calm dignity, a man who had prepared his entire life for this moment. He had written in his journal for decades, "Do not fear death. It is part of nature's plan." Now, those words were no longer philosophy. They were reality. Outside his tent, the legionnaires whispered prayers. To them, Marcus Aurelius was more than an emperor. He was a symbol of justice, discipline, and moral strength. Many had seen him on the battlefield, standing firm while others fled. Others had watched him walk among the wounded after every clash, offering comfort like a father rather than a ruler. Now, that father of the army was slipping away. Inside the tent, Marcus Aurelius studied a map of the frontier one last time. His generals stood silently around him. Their faces were grim. The Marcomannic wars were still not over, and Rome needed stability. But Marcus knew he didn't have many hours left, let alone days. He motioned for a commander to come closer and whispered, "Do not let the work we have begun fall apart. Rome must stand united." Every word cost him effort. Then came the moment the generals had been dreading. Marcus asked for his son. Commodus entered the tent slowly, wearing imperial purple that still looked too large for him. The boy who once idolized his father now seemed distant and impatient, a prince more interested in comfort, games, and power than wisdom or duty. Marcus looked at him with tired eyes, filled with worry. He had spent years hoping to prepare Commodus for rule, but now he saw what he had always feared. His son was not ready. In a fragile voice, Marcus said, "Do not be a tyrant. Honor Rome. Be a man who listens, not commands." Commodus nodded, but his expression barely changed. It was the nod of someone who wanted the conversation to end. For Marcus Aurelius, that was perhaps the deepest pain of all. As Commodus stepped back, the emperor requested a final moment alone. He lay back on his simple camp bed. No gold, no luxury, no palace walls. Just a soldier among soldiers, the same way he'd lived his life. He looked up at the dim lantern light, and his breathing slowed. In the distance, he could hear the soft roar of the river, the murmurs of his men, and the wind pushing against the tent. These were the last sounds of his world. And then, with a final whisper, "Some say it was a prayer, others say it was a Stoic reflection." Marcus Aurelius closed his eyes for the last time. The war camp fell completely silent. When the news spread through the legions, seasoned warriors wept openly. Some dropped to their knees. Others cut their foreheads with their blades in mourning. They knew an age of wisdom had died with him. The Senate in Rome declared him a god. But the soldiers, they simply called him father. As the body of Marcus Aurelius was carried from the camp, torches flickered across the vast forests of the frontier. Thousands of soldiers lined the path, saluting him as he passed. Even the barbarian tribes paused their attacks when they learned the great emperor was dead. Such was the respect, he commanded. In that moment, the Roman Empire stood at a crossroads. Behind Marcus lay decades of stability, discipline, and reluctant but necessary war. Ahead stood his son Commodus, a ruler whose personality and desires were dangerously different from anything Rome had seen in generations. The death of Marcus Aurelius did not just end a life. It ended the last chapter of Rome's golden age, and the empire would never be the same again.